Brodes Media.
That sure was something. Oh, that sure was something. Before we hop into all the action, we are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel and love Philadelphia sports, or if you just love watching me scream about Philadelphia sports, because there's a lot of you out there, make sure you smash that subscribe button and the like button as well. Also, we are extremely close to 6,000 followers over on Twitter, so head to my Twitter account at Brodes81 and smash the follow button. Thank you so much. I love you all so much, and enjoy the show. That was insane. That was literally insane. And I know what everybody's thinking right now, right? Is that the moment? Is that Andrew Mccutchen saving the season? And I would love to sit here and tell you all, yes, absolutely, 1,000%. But I would be going against what my heart truly tells me. This squad barely won. They barely squeezed this out. And we can go back to when Bryce Harper hit that grand slam against the Chicago Cubs. That was such a powerful moment, wasn't it? What happened that season? Sure, there was something to be said about what happened as we witnessed that specific bomb. But ultimately, the team who is the Phillies, right? The Phillies, their identity will show by the end of this 162, where this one homer by Andrew Mccutchen is not going to just take over what I've seen. Didi Gregorius in the ninth inning when Archie Bradley gets a little dribbler. Archie Bradley was on the bump, little dribbler up the middle. Didi Gregorius bobbles one. That's a common theme. Spencer Howard can't get through a fourth fucking inning, and that's a problem, and that's what I see all the time. Now Matt Moore is going in game 2, and you just shredded through a big chunk of your bullpen, which concerns me heavily. Alvarado walked 3 batters, got out of the jam in the 6th inning, but it was absolutely murky. Hector Neris got saved big time by Ronald Torreyes, who was all over the map making stellar defensive plays. But Hector Neris had a weird 7th. He had a strong 8th. Who came in? Connor Brogdon also came in. Kinsler came in after Spencer Howard got into some trouble. And the Spencer Howard thing just annoys the living shit out of me. It really does. They try and tell you that it's a blister, and then during the post-game show, Joe Girardi goes down the road of it was a callus, but he'll probably be good for his next start. But what are we doing here? We're acting as if the kid is a child, is 3 years old. They will never let him just fucking throw the baseball. They have no idea what his role is going to be. What his identity is going to be for this team. It's pretty clear. He's good early. He's good in the first, second inning, and then he explodes and his velocity dips, and they're trying to put together here and correlate his velocity dipping with the callus. Dude, we've been watching this kid for quite some time. Now, just to give you some specifics on how good he is in the first inning, listen to this tweet from Corey Seidman, who of course covers the Phillies for NBC Sports Philadelphia. Spencer Howard is king of the first inning. His opponents are 0 for 21 this season in the opening frame with 9 strikeouts and only 1 walk. Including last season, his opponents are 4 for 42 with 17 strikeouts in the first inning. He ended up getting Juan Soto, and you could see the frustration on Juan Soto's face. I like the pitch. I had no problem with it, but this strike zone was just egregious in general, and it was very inconsistent, right? There was a play by Bryce Harper, or a strike called on Bryce Harper that Bryce started to bitch and complain with. It was realistically a good pitch that hit the strike zone, but the reason why he's so upset is just watching how all over the place the blue was behind the dish, because you had Alec Boehm striking out in a major spot. Man on second and third, 2 outs. It was 4-0. This team battled back insanely. Rhys Hoskins hits a bomb on a 1-2 count, explodes. You can feel the life in the building going, and Alec Boehm ends up looking on a outside pitch that wasn't a strike at all. He got rung up. My problem isn't necessarily, and to be fair, it was close. It should have been a ball. No doubt it should have been a ball, but it was close. It should have been a ball. It was close. I'm more worried and annoyed about Alec Boehm swinging and missing through some pitches that maybe he should have delivered on earlier in that bat. You know, I got that at bat. There were definitely a couple pitches that I liked, and I need to see Alec Boehm drive in that moment. He's got to knock in that run to tie up the game. But there were so many weird things all around, right? So Martinez going to his pen, bases loaded, Alvarado, 2 outs. I mean, I understand. I know he's getting crushed and he's getting crucified a bit for that decision, but, you know, to some degree, I think it's a little too harsh because you can blow the game open. It's 4-0. Get a hit, and to be fair, it was a smoked ball, but Odubel Herrera was out in center field and he made a play on it. It was a hard hit ball that, you know, it wasn't as if he squared it up terribly or had an awful at-bat like Brad Miller once did in this game. But he was kind of put in a situation where it was wonky, right? So you're cruising and you're scoring runs, and Ronald Torreyes is told to bunt the baseball, which then gives the Nationals an out to move a runner over to second base. And it was a very questionable decision because you want to pounce. Not only that, you know, why give the Nats an opportunity to just get some momentum in that inning? They were getting murdered, right? They were getting worked. They were getting dominated. Give them one out. And when you're at the bottom of your lineup there with an Odubel Herrera who is not swinging the bat very well, and Brad Miller is also not going to see a lefty very smoothly, what are we doing there? I see both sides. I do. I know it's easy, and I get it. I do get it. I completely understand the logic on why you would be upset with Joe Girardi bunting Ronald Torreyes, who has been definitely seeing the baseball and been really huge for you, right? This team, you can argue, is where they are today because of Ronald Torreyes stepping in when Didi Gregorius was not available. So, you know, you can't discredit the spark plug that he's been and the noise that he has been creating, for sure. No doubt. Why bunt? Why bunt? Let him have a chance. At the same time, though, this team has clearly focused on small ball as of late. Double steals. Dave Dombrowski has been vocal about it as well. So they're creating this new type of identity where they're super aggressive or they're putting guys in areas by playing a different version that you are accustomed to seeing here in 2021. When everyone's thinking of the long ball, they're going to do something different just to try something new. Rhys Hoskins has been running around the bases like he's Roman Quinn. I mean, it just makes no sense at times, but that's what they're doing. They're stealing bases. They're playing a little bit old-fashioned baseball. So it has worked for you a decent amount of times when you haven't been able to hit the home runs, when you're looking for a run scored, when you're trying to just create some energy. It has been effective. So then you try it. You know, if it's been working, you kind of try it. You take that chance of, okay, now there's an out, but we also have a man on second base. Didn't pay off, but I don't hate it as much as everybody else seems to hate it. I don't believe that was the game-changing moment. How about the first inning when Gene Segura goes from third to home and he gets canned? Now, I don't know what Dusty's telling him to do in that moment. It seemed pretty clear that that ball was hitting an area that maybe you should just wait another batter. Maybe you should just hold off. Gene Segura was hosed by a good portion of time. I mean, he was not close to it. Now, some of me wonders, just because, you know, I always like to try and blame the players, as that's me being facetious, of course, because individuals say that I search for that. But with Gene Segura, what if it's one of those moments where Dusty's on the side and the message is not so much you're going, it's you read it, do what you think. So he's basically saying, Gene, it's on you. If you think you can get there, I'm allowing you to go, but I'm not specifically demanding you to go. I might give you the opportunity, and you, as a baseball player, have the instincts on either thinking that you can get it done and get the goal accomplished, slide home, and give the Phillies an early lead or not. So I don't know. I'm just saying I have to put that out there on the table. That has to be there because it is a possibility. Is it all on Dusty? Is it on Gene? Is it a combination of both? You know, it's just so crazy to me, though, because at the end of the day, seriously, when I analyzed this game, it felt like it was going to be a loss for a long period of time, and they somehow, some way snuck out of there with a victory, which is very big just considering You never want to start a series off against the Washington Nationals after splitting at home against the Braves right before this in a series. This is monstrous to land the first victory of the series just to try and build momentum. There was life in that ballpark, for sure. That sixth inning, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I wasn't in the building, in the stadium, but I was at home, and you could hear the crowd, "Let's go Phillies! Let's go Phillies!" Right? You can see the fans when they're going to commercial and someone's walking back to the dugout after maybe a strikeout or a ground out or a double play. They're walking to the dugout. There's like, all right. Now, the double play I'm specifically referencing, and this was kind of earlier in the game, but it was before they did not have the lead. It was tied at this point, so there was still some sort of buzz in the building. But Spencer Howard had himself some double plays. Just crazy to see. Triples. That's the other problem. Those double plays were countered with some triples. Giving up a handful of runs. Does he not want to have the fight, though? Does he have the balls to say on the mound, "I'm staying. I'm staying"? Does he? Or he's like, I got something on my finger. I need a Band-Aid. Which one is it? There's clearly endurance issues. Oh, a big part of this. Now, the score was 0-0 at the time. Would a team do this? I don't know. Maybe. It might have worked out, so maybe this isn't their game plan. There was easily a double play that could have been made by the Nationals, but instead they go to first. Spencer Howard stays at second base. I question if they would put someone in scoring position just for this method. At the end of the day, though, you can make the argument that it was beneficial, so maybe they did. Keep Spencer Howard on the bases because it has been duly noted and it has been stated to the media by Spencer Howard himself that he felt being on the bases, running to first base, that took some of his endurance out of him and it impacted the way that he pitched the next inning. Well, look what happened to Spencer Howard after he was on the bases. He went 3 2/3, allowed 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 45 pitches. It's just mind-blowing to see how smooth and solid and sharp he is in that first, second inning, which it's clear, you can play a bullpen role. You just have to admit to it. Whatever you're doing now is just disastrous. What is he? AAA? Nope. I need you now in the hunt for October. That's basically where the Phillies are right now. No, this is playoff baseball. Every time they touch the diamond, hey Spencer, we need you. Oh, you have a little blister. Okay, we'll take you out, but you'll be good for the next start. Really? It's something. It's definitely something. This organization from top to bottom. And you know what? I'm talking about weird moments by Joe today and things that we can question all throughout the diamond. What's Brad Miller doing trying to bunt? Is he failing that much against the lefties where you're that uncomfortable where someone gives him the nod to bunt the baseball with 2 outs with runners in scoring position, and that's how you're trying to manufacture runs? Does that go back to the old school style baseball where they're willing to try and catch people off guard and, try and be creative and unique to get your runs across home plate? I mean, to some level, though, you can't go overboard. You can't go way too insane. You can't lose your damn mind and start making the most outrageous decisions I've ever seen in my life, and it does seem to feel like he's getting in that territory, which makes me uncomfortable. You got to find that perfect balance. And in terms of perfect balance with this baseball team, the highs and lows, and then you get your perfect balance. You get your extremes. This was a crazy moment, This was one of those, you don't forget about this one. We talk about the Bryce Harper powder blue jerseys grand slam against the Chicago Cubs, and that's going to be a defining moment. Andrew Mccutchen, one of his defining moments in Philly is going to be that. And I know they've stressed it a billion times, Ben Davis on the broadcast, but I did have the goosebumps as well watching Kutch run around the bases with the pure emotion. That's just someone having a very, very happy moment, and you could see it all over his face, all over his body language, and it reminded me of, I was scrolling through TikTok, right? You can follow me on TikTok at Brodes Media, and I was just scrolling, and it was a 2-minute video on my For You page. The last time I mentioned a TikTok, someone in the chat said that they saw the same one in their For You page, or maybe you saw it, but it's 2 kids, right? And they're in their basement. They have their pillows set up as home, first, second, and third. And they built a wall, and they're playing basically wiffle ball in their basement, and they were running around the bases, laughing, counting the score. They had some baseball swag on, and basically everyone in the comment section was, enjoy these moments, kids, because, it's not always going to be like this, and this is what it's all about when you're young and nothing matters. You're just playing wiffle ball in your basement, and, you're living in the moment, right? That was what it was like watching Andrew McCutchen round those bases with the pure joy as if he was that little kid playing in the basement. And it was cool. You won't forget it. But I just don't know how much this is going to impact everything. The thing is, you win with Matt Moore, and then you have Zach Wheeler on the bump. It puts you in a good spot. So winning tomorrow, I'm not going to tell you it's the most important game ever in the history of Phillies baseball. But I do think that it's significant for it coming out of this series with the 3 out of 4 matchup. I said this the other day, and I guess some people did not clearly comprehend it all, but, when I looked at that series split against the Braves, and when I looked at that 0-2 against New York, that was part of the easy schedule. The Yankees are not that good. The Braves are not that good. I'm hearing from a couple of my buddies, why are you pissed off? The Braves are a good team. You won with your good starters. You lost with your bad starters. No. You have the easiest schedule because of teams like this. The Yankees just got embarrassed by the Red Sox a few times late in the games. They're pissing away games. They're blowing games. Why? Because they're not good. The Braves are what in the NL East? What position are they in? That's right. That's because they're not healthy. A lot of their players are extremely banged up. Freddie Freeman started off slow. This year, they're not very good. So it's not, they only have the easiest schedule because they still have the Pirates and teams of that nature on their schedule. That's not it, though. No, all the other teams, too. The Nats, not good. The Braves, not good. The Yankees, not good. These teams are not good. You have to win them. And a Matt Moore win would be something really important because Zach Wheeler, you feel a lot more confident about. Maybe you can rest that bullpen a bit. Kinsler came into a tough moment. From there, there was some toe-curling moments, if you will. Hector Neris, but Torreyes came up big defensively. Alvarado, you really never know what you're going to get out of the Alvarado experience, huh? I mean, it's something else. Walk a few batters, but you get 101 paint job on the corner. It's something. It's something, and it's laughable. What's not laughable, what's awesome, and puts a smile on your face like Andrew McCutchen is DraftKings Sportsbook. It's not only my favorite sportsbook, but America's top-rated sportsbook. Speaking of America, our top athletes are over in Tokyo competing for the gold, and DraftKings has a medal-worthy offer just for my listeners. Listen to this great offer. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits if America wins a medal. That's code Brodes to turn $1 into $100 in free credits for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or Indiana 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Okay, you know what time it is. It is time to go to the Anytime Hotline. First, though, I forgot about this news. Zach Eflin. I tried telling everybody when they claim that he'll only miss a start or two and he'll be back that it was all bullshit and I didn't believe a word that they were saying. They kind of tried to slide it under the radar as if, it's not a big deal. Hey, Zach Eflin's going here. He'll be back in a little bit. Don't worry about it. Well, I guess he was throwing and there was discomfort and now you're not going to have Zach Eflin for even another start, which makes the starting pitching a spot of need. So let me get this straight. Starting pitching is a spot you need help in? Okay. Your bullpen is a spot that you really need help in? Okay. You need help defensively and probably out in the outfield as well as the infield? Yeah, okay. Where are you getting all this? You need a right-handed bat? Yeah, okay. I mean, you need a right-handed bench bat. That would be lovely. That would be great for some crucial moments for this damn baseball team. Where are you going to get all that? It's crazy. It's crazy to think about where Dave Dombrowski is right now and how he's going to be forced to buy when it's really not what is the strongest move for this spot. But, I mean, it's what you have to do. Unfortunately, you're forced to try and break this streak of not making the playoffs, and you're in a position because the Mets are where they are and where the Braves are falling off that maybe you have a chance to do it in theory. And, of course, I'm using air quotes. I don't believe in it, but, come on. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. There's no way that there's fans out there who truly believe. It's fake belief. It's joke belief. It's not real belief. It's, hey, maybe there's a chance. Hey, Andrew McCutchen saved the season, right? Right? Huh? Who's with me? It's one of those more so than it is, hey, let's bear down here and complete the mission. It's definitely not at that level. But, yeah, moral of the story, though, is Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin. All right, let's go to the Anytime Hotline here and check out the listeners. Here we go.
Andrew McCutchen wins the game for the Phillies. 3-run walk-off. What a way to start off the series. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now all we need to do is keep on winning. The Mets need to keep on losing. And before you know it, Brodes, we're going to be back in first place. Let's go, Phillies. Ring the bell.
See, like, I understand, right? It's emotional. You call the Anytime Hotline. It's funny. I can see my computer screen, obviously, because I do have eyeballs and I can look at the monitors. But as soon as the game's over, I see the whole Google voicemail box just going crazy and going nuts and going wild. And I see all the calls, and I just laugh because it's such a great time to call. But when I listen back now, after it's been about an hour since the game has ended when I started recording, you don't mean that. Back in first place. That's a joke statement. That's a ha-ha statement. That's a, hey, let's call it. Hey, let's first place, boys. Here we go. It's not real. We know it's not real. Now, am I being an asshole? Am I being the old man? Am I being the get off my lawn, or should I embrace that journey? Sometimes I'm all in it. It's just situational. We can go through this another year, in a different year, maybe 2 years ago. Maybe that's the problem. We did this 2 years ago. We did this last year during the fall apart, during the breakdown, and we were still holding on. Hey, maybe. But now, it just hits that element of, okay, I've done that. I'm sick of that. Can we please get over that? Funny the first year, funny the second year. Now it's tiring. Now it's almost a reality that we're abysmal, and it can't be that way because it makes me upset. Let's take the next call.
Win of the motherfucking year. That's a kind of win that just doesn't happen for the Phillies of the last, 4 or 5 years. The only other times I could think of was the Bryce Grand Slam against the Cubs a couple of years ago. Typically, this is the kind of game that goes the other team's way. Typically, we're the team that blows a lead and ends up giving up a walk-off home run. So it's so nice to find that we can finally do that on our end. And this is the kind of win that can seriously change the momentum of the season. We've been in neutral lately, but this is the kind of win that can seriously spark the club.
I definitely do agree with that assessment. I understand why it is brought up that did Andrew McCutchen, all jokes aside, right? When I'm seriously just analyzing that statement, I think that it could be a little momentum push where there's some life, but I always go back to there's only so much adrenaline. There's only so much caffeine. And then eventually, whatever gave you that spurt, well, after one game, it stops, right? After, I'm saying maybe you go on a 3 or 4 game little streak, but then you lose that one game, and then that adrenaline rush is no longer there, and it slowly gets back to reality. What I can sense is an adrenaline rush again, but is that adrenaline rush real? Is that really going to push this team over the edge, or is it going to be something that ends? That's why I drink 9,000 cups of coffee a day. My first one isn't enough to begin with. My second one isn't enough to begin with. Then I get my third cup. And by my third cup, I eventually have some jitters and I have that rush that I'm looking for, so I'll stop. But then I hit 3 o'clock. I hit 2:30 in the afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. And I need that extra bonus. I need to do it again. So what happens? Well, there's a lull where I'm a bit defeated, and then I get that coffee, and there's a spark, and it's just one big cycle. But the problem is when you don't have the juice, you're bad. You're real bad. And you're falling flat on your face. the Phillies should have lost this baseball game. I hate to be the bad news guy. I hate to be, the one to go down that path, but I speak from the heart. That was brutal. Brutal. And somehow, some way, Rhys Hoskins, I don't want to give him, the short end of the stick here. Rhys Hoskins coming up big on that 1-2 count. And Bryce Harper was on base 4 times. He walked 3 times, and he started some opportunities for the Phils. Now, ultimately, they didn't cash in on all of them, but let's not forget about him getting on base in that 6th inning for Rhys Hoskins. Hello. Top of the order in the 9th inning. Gene Segura, hello. Takes advantage of a wild pitch, gets to third base, although that wasn't extremely different because of the home run involved. But Bryce Harper walks. It starts it. It puts pressure. Now you're on the bump. If you're Brad Hand, I got to watch myself now. Okay, it ain't no joke. Now it's the winning run at the plate, not the tying run. Now it's the winning run at the plate. The pressure of Bryce Harper. I think it's kind of crazy enough, which I'm actually surprised I'm even saying this. I think it ended up being where he's sliding under the radar a bit, how well he's performing, how much of a difference maker he is, because he has the intangibles. He does the little things that don't always necessarily pop up on the stat sheet so aggressively when you just look at his batting average. And to be fair, his batting average, speaking of, it's been climbing up. Right now, Bryce Harper, just to put it in perspective here, and I completely butchered his name when I reached over for my keyboard. I was way off, but that's the beauty of Google. You get close enough and you're good to go. He's hitting .288 with a .908 OPS. 15 homers, 35 RBIs. The RBIs will come 43 walks. By the way, I know how to spell Bryce Harper, just to be clear. I was 1 letter off as I was kind of reaching across my body. And, so it was all 1 letter off when I was feeling out the keyboard. I think you all understand what I'm saying. Anyway, Bryce Harper has been awesome. Just absolutely awesome. All right, let's go back to the line.
My opinion, that win might have just saved our season. I mean, if you lose that game, you go behind 4.5, 5 games to the Mets. It wouldn't be looking good, but hey, Segura, Harper, and Mccutchen have really came through on offense recently. I mean, Rhys Hoskins had a big hit tonight, but those are the 3 key players that have really stepped up and been consistently just hitting the ball hard all over the field lately. I mean, everyone else, we gotta be able to hit the ball better in clutch scenarios. Alec Boehm and Brad Miller, come on. Every other team does it. Every other team gets clutch hit, not the Phillies. But they somehow escape to get the win, and we move on to tomorrow, which is a big start. If Matt Moore can pull it off, I feel pretty good that we can win.
Yep, I said the same exact thing. It's funny, though, because every team has this problem, too. It's not just the Phillies, right? It's just you don't care about the other teams. That's, something that I always hear. Only here in Philadelphia. Only here. It's like, no, it happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. You're just not as emotionally tied to when you see it or when it happens because you're not diving into every single game, every single pitch, every single player when there's bases loaded with 1 out in the 6th inning, It happens, trust me. And right now it's ugly, though. It's definitely something that is glaring and can be the difference in winning a lot of baseball games. It's kind of like the theme here, 2 ways to look at things, right? You have to get that timely hit. You're also doing the right things to even be in a position to complain about getting that timely hit. And if you keep getting those, will it eventually kind of be more explosive? If you're going to always get these opportunities, eventually, you would think that the timely hits start to turn around and it would be more of a consistent than it is right now, which is really brutal. The Boehm one, tough. Bad call. Got to hit some of the earlier pitches, though. I don't know what to do with this Boehm problem. No power. Ronald Torreyes at third. Do you see the difference? I was thinking about watching the game. What would the score be with those same hit balls to Torreyes? I honestly feel that 3 of those balls that he caught would have not have been caught. Whether caught or ground ball, that was just a nice play. it would have been, and I believe, I'm thinking of the two nice catches. It was one with Hector and just a couple of different plays out there by Torreyes that stood out to me during the process of watching. And those three specific ones that are on my brain, it would have been into the outfield, would have been into Andrew Mccutchen territory. So who knows if it would have even been 5-3. Could have been 9-3. And then you don't, well, no. It would have been the other score. The 6-5. No, it would have been the 5. It would have been the 5. Sorry, I'm all out to lunch right now. This is probably a sign to end the podcast and maybe hit the hay so I can get ready for tomorrow. I got a big day tomorrow. So anyway, that's where we're at. Phillies win a big game. Let's see if they can build off of this. Matt Moore in a depleted bullpen. Is that going to be enough to go against Juan Soto and a Nationals team that's clearly somewhere else internally because they're very low in the standings? Marlins territory. And with that, we'll shut it down. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.